Hi, my name is Easter. Welcome to the Easter Basket. And today I wanted to make this video because I want more people to play nurse. I don't see enough nurses since her nerf. And she is one of the most thematically awesome killers in this game. So today I wanted to go over why you should play her, maybe her more frustrating parts, and let's get into it. Okay, the first thing to note is that while we will discuss the basics and go through the gameplay, this is not a holistic guide to nurse. If you want to learn how to play nurse, I recommend Tofu's excellent guide that I will place in the video description, and I'll put a card of it up above. Alright, so for her basic mechanics, she has a blink, a teleport. It's called Spencer's Last Breath. She starts to charge a teleport. It charges up to a 20-meter blink, and then she can fire that off, and then there's a brief window where she can blink for a second time. If she does this, she can go up to 12 meters, and after each blink, there is a fatigue time. So the base fatigue time is 2 seconds. If you do absolutely nothing, every blink that you actually perform extends that by half a second. If you blink and miss an attack, then that adds an extra full second. So the maximum time, if you blink twice and miss your blink attack, is 4 seconds, which for reference is the same time that it takes a Legion to drop out a Frenzy. That is a very, very long time. This ability is the core of what makes her fun, but it's also what makes her very frustrating to learn because her walk speed is slower. She's the only killer whose walk speed is slower than survivors. So we'll go on and we'll cover the good. And there is a lot of good, but it can be summarized into one point. Played well, nurse ignores everything that survivors can possibly do to stay alive. Pallets, doesn't matter. Walls are no problem. Windows are a joke. Most of these things are actually detrimental to survivors because they give you sounds to lock onto and blink to. And it also locks them into animations that you can then take advantage of. Now, because of this, there is counterplay. It's a lot easier for survivors to get away from you if you can't see them. They can mind game you, they can do a whole lot of things so you have to predict what they're going to do, or blink so you can mitigate whatever outplay they are going to try to perform on you. Alright, while that is a very large positives, there are some very large negatives. The first is that if you plan on picking up Nurse, don't expect to win games initially. She is very, very difficult to learn, especially while you're getting your muscle memory for her blinks. Survivors will just run circles around you. They can hold W if you miss your attacks, and they will just outrun anything that you can do. And it will be frustrating initially, but that's okay, because her skill cap is high, and you will be able to do godlike things with her whenever you get it down, get the teleports down. So while Nurse has the tools to close the distance and down survivors very quickly, survivors can also punish you very, very heavily. If you're constantly taking 2 blinks and missing your swing, that's 4 seconds. And survivors, especially if they use their exhaustion perk like Lithe, can outstrip you very, very far in 4 seconds. It is a very long time. So you need to be very aware to not swing at the end of your 2 blinks, and that will keep you in survivor range if necessary, and that'll really reduce the amount of frustration you have if you want to pick up this killer. With all that out of the way, with all the pros and cons out of the way, how do I suggest you learn Nurse if you were to pick up this killer from the beginning? Well, first thing that I would do personally is I would not use the plaid flannel for longer than I had to, which is usually the first 2 or 3 games. Once you get past that point, there starts to be a sort of reaction delay between when you start to hold the blink and where you actually teleport to where you're going, and I find that it gives the survivors an extra quarter of a second to get away from me. So I do not like using flannel if I do not have to use it. Second, once you're done using the flannel, I would suggest trying her with no add-ons whatsoever. Her blink recharge add-ons make her much more usable to play for new players, but if you play her with no add-ons, you're like Rock Lee with the leg weights. As soon as you start putting the add-ons on, you'll notice the survivors are almost half the distance they would normally be from you, and then it'll be pretty trivial to knock them down if you're used to them running the full distance away. Second is to essentially throw the survivor handbook out the window. Survivors tend to take advantage of you if you're a nurse and they think that you're going to blink away. They will unhook somebody right behind you. You have to get it out of your mind that downing somebody as soon as they're unhooked is a negative thing. If a survivor is stupid enough to unhook their friend 10 feet behind you, then down both of them. Don't tunnel down the one person and pick them up, down the person that's wounded, go and down his friend that farmed him, and then hook him first. Nurse is all about snowballing. She is not about playing fair. She is not about hooking one person and then patrolling around the other generators like some other killers are good at. She is good at snowballing people down and very quickly winning the game once she has an advantage. That being said, do not use what I just said as an excuse to face camp. Face camping is universally a bad decision, and survivors will ruthlessly take advantage of you for it. If you face camp somebody on Nurse because you're worried about patrolling away and them unhooking somebody and you're not going to find somebody else, then they're just going to do gens, and they'll have all 5 gens done while you're sitting there face camping the one person. So don't face camp. Above all, though, don't be discouraged. I have almost 480 hours in this game at this point, and about half of that is on Nurse, and I still really struggle with her if I get a group of very good survivors who know how to break line of sight, who know how to mind game, who know how to play against Nurse. So don't worry about it. Have fun. She can be very frustrating to learn, but when you're really in the groove, I think Nurse is one of the most fun killers to play. And with Pyramid Head coming out soon, you might as well really make him feel like it's Silent Hill, right? Before I end the video, though, I want to leave you with a final reason to play her, and that's that people don't really see very many nurses. There are a lot of huntresses, there are a lot of spirits, there are a lot of deathslingers, and there's that special thrill I get as a survivor whenever I hear that nurse scream teleport at the beginning of a match. She isn't seen very often, and so she has that special something when you start a match as a survivor, almost like fear, where you're wondering if the nurse is going to be a good one or if you're going to get a runner around. And I think that's a really cool feeling. And that is all I have for you today. So without further ado, if you like this video, like it, leave a comment below if you have anything you think I missed, and don't forget to follow my Twitch channel over at twitch.tv/theeasterbasket, and have a good one.